The other day I sit and listen to those four men where that young man with the British accent interviews Jeffrey Hinton about, in the next 2 years you might want to be a plumber because all his technology is going to take over most professional jobs like lawyers and doctors and so on and so forth. Tonight I sat and watched the news, and they had a man from Mexico who came to El Paso and got his citizenship and went to Apache Junction and got shot and killed being a policeman in Apache Junction. And they had a funeral, and his daughter sat there and said, when I get married, I know you'll be watching down from the sky, watching over me, wishing you were there. Right? And then he's got this other man standing at a podium saying he gave the ultimate sacrifice, protecting our community, right? And all the rest of the guys sitting around with a sad countenance, sitting there going, oh, this is so sad that this man got killed in the line of duty, giving the ultimate sacrifice so we can all be free, and he won't be able to be at his daughter's wedding except for looking down from the sky, right? And then you got these other four gentlemen, listening to Jeffrey Hinton talk about his artificial general intelligence and how it's going to take over most of the main operations of all these jobs that this man looking down from the sky had done. And they're talking about the quantum mechanics of it and how brilliant and amazing it is, and how brilliant and amazing human beings are, what amazing people human beings are, and how this technology that they're using from the satellites from the sky to tell us all what to do to get killed over money are just so brilliant and amazing, and all the quantum mechanics required for this brilliant and amazing technology to keep this going. It's how brilliant and amazing it is, right? And you're like sitting there going, okay, now, if we understand the simplicity of the meaning of the words in the Lord's Prayer, okay, and we accept those words as perfection from a protecting Father, okay, that gave his life so we could live these words on planet Earth, all of us, right? Without having to have magic people watch us from the clouds to keep us safe from people that are willing to kill each other over delusions of human leadership and authority, right? If we were living the thoughts, words, and actions and applied physics of this Lord's Prayer that was given to us the night before Jesus was crucified in the Roman Empire, year one, according to our calendar. That's 2,025 years ago and counting, right? Okay. Would we have to be listening to these podcasts with millions of people watching it, talking about the quantum mechanics of computers, using signals from satellites to tell us what to do and how we're going to live through these brilliant scientists, okay, through extortion and exploitation and being denied the Lord's Prayer, which is humble and brilliant, not clinically insane, not homicidal, not genocidal, and not psychotic, right? And so the little girl at this funeral the other day in Arizona, okay, wouldn't be sitting there in public saying, I know my dad is watching from the clouds at my wedding when I get married, keeping us all safe. And you guys know when you watch a movie, propaganda movies with Josh Brolin and Emily Blunt, okay, and Benicio del Toro, okay, that the job that her father was in will get with people, and they'll go down to Mexico, and they will accept killing and fighting and murdering over money, and they will get dressed up in Kevlar and get guns, and they will go murder, Silvio, who has a son who wants him to play soccer and go to the park, right? And they won't even give the Lord's Prayer a second thought. And they will murder another person's father, brother, husband, son, or mother without even giving it a second thought. They will put on, they'll have Benicio Toro act like he's got his face shot in by this crazy kid who couldn't understand the Lord's Prayer if he held a gun to his fucking head, right? He holds a gun to Benicio del Toro's head, blows part of his face off. Then he's driving down the road. These crazy drug dealers see him. He pretends to take a grenade, throw it in the car, and blow these guys up. And people in El Paso and Las Cruces can't wait to pretend to be in these movies and say, I wonder when Clint Eastwood's going to show up and teach us how to kill Mexicans over money again. Because we sure need Clint Eastwood to show up in Las Cruces to show us how to kill Mexicans over money again, because we got to stimulate our local economy and kill local fathers who will give all to serve and protect over money, so we can listen to these psychotic scientists talk about the quantum engineering required and the brilliance of this quantum engineering required for artificial general intelligence to keep us listening to scientists from satellites accepting murder over money as the ultimate sacrifice for children to live in a free world protected by sociopaths that will point nuclear weapons at mass populaces and say, we will blow you all motherfuckers up if you don't accept our popularity contest over money and the delusions of the Roman Empire and a republic written down on a piece of paper and agreed to by sociopaths that train their children to be sociopaths to think that that man that died the other day in Arizona from Mexico and El Paso is watching us from the sky magically at his daughter's wedding 13 years from now, right? And then you have a man in Las Cruces who stands up to all this stuff anonymously, LY, right? And you got them head fucking him with scientists that use celebrities that do propaganda for homicidal, genocidal propaganda movies and keep making these movies. And I've been online asking people to live the Lord's Prayer since 2009 out of Cochise County in Arizona, right? And people don't act like I exist. You get people, I talk to my own family. When I talk to them this way, they look at me like I'm an egomaniac. They roll their eyes at me. They tell me I'm crazy. And I'm like, I have to sit and listen to you tell me that you're God and that you're not required to get up and stand up to live the Lord's Prayer because Jesus already did it for you. And that I'm crazy and I'm going to a magic place you call hell in your head for trying to get up and be tortured by your military and your scientific community that you vote for every 2 to 4 years, okay, to watch your houses through satellites and threaten to abuse you and kill you the same way they threatened to kill me and abuse me slowly and softly with chemical poisoning. And then my tooth rotted out because of chemical poisoning, which you can assess real well. You can just self-diagnose and go, God damn, okay, there's this. And then the body's trying to get it out, and the body's trying to rapidly get the chemical poisoning that is sanctioned by the government and okayed by the government, like acceptable forms of lead in the water and acceptable forms of, we can have cell phone towers because they're a public utility, even if they might cause cancer in the people that are in close proximity to the cell phones. So we can have this quantum mechanic computing and have Jeffrey Hinton, have technology that gives us synthetic drugs to have us all enjoy the rape until we're fucked to death by the medical industry and the military industry and the propaganda industry and the entertainment industry. And it's like, you really want to sit around for another fucking 2 years listening to an egomaniac talk to you about her dysfunctional sex life to money and wishing you were the one that was fucking this egomaniac, right? But it's not. It's a professional basketball player that's trying to win his first NBA championship, but he's 6'9". He's got a 12-inch penis, and he makes more money than you've ever made a day in your. He makes more money, okay, than you've made your whole life, and you're 59 years old, and he makes that much money in a year. Okay, and if you turn down as much money as he makes, from the military that's mass murdering everybody at these science projects. Okay, everybody tells you, you're crazy. You should have took the money. Yeah, I should have took the money. Okay. Don't you think trying to get their quantum mechanics that are amazing, that try to talk us all into genocidal operations so we can be killed slowly by doctors with drugs, don't you think trying to convince their technology to be as beautiful as me and then help me save us all with their fucked up technology is more intelligent and more right and more perfect than accepting $2 million a month to watch you all die in metropolitan areas through chemical poisoning because you vote for president? Don't you think it is a far better thing I do to sit here and suffer and then get my teeth ripped out because I have a card that says I have the money from the government for a person to pay his bills to do so, and then explain to the guy what's going on with my body and why it's still going on? And why don't you stand up for a Lord's Prayer with me? That would be really cool, especially if you do it publicly and tell other people to do it publicly, but they won't do it. And then I'll go to a doctor to try to get disability, to get money together to buy a shed and a trailer to go live near the Gila that the military just burned out for the second time in 5 years, right? And they're like, what do you think? Well, what if you get money and get disability and try to go heal up there and we set the Gila on fire again? Yeah, what if frogs had wings? They wouldn't hit their ass when they hop. Camera 1, camera 2, happy birthday, Mr. President. Would you still love me in my chemical poisoned by the military and NASA laughing about it stage? Well, then where's my Abraham Lincoln, right? He's sitting there watching this shit, and I have to sit and listen to this shit, and I have to put up with it all the time. I will go talk to my dad for hours and explain to him stuff like this. And he huffs and puffs and goes, okay, Earl, let's talk about the weather of the birds. And I said, well, hang in there, Dad. Your trust in Jesus Christ's path. I know. And then I tell him, but I'm the Messiah and I'm getting the job done and I'm using your taxpayer technology to protect your family from getting mass murdered by your own military. No, you're not, Earl. Jesus is God. And when we die, we're all going to go live with him in the sky. With that cop that got killed making the Sicaro movies, bagging fries on front time and trying to keep Brush Brolin a millionaire because just in case his dad and his stepmom don't have enough money to make sure that everybody can live in Malibu and go to the mountains to be as happy and healthy, fucking and laughing and singing songs for $2 million a pop. And they're okay. America. God done shed his grace on thee and crown thy hood with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. I have to listen to morons talk about when the president knows what he's doing and he's doing the greatest things ever done in the name of God and the history of God. The history of God. Yeah. Okay. I hope I can fix your artificial general intelligence to make it actually intelligent. I'm going to keep working on it. Well, I'm hopeful, I'm faithful, and I'm a really good person. And I think more people should believe in me than the bullshit that they have in their fucked up little heads, torturing that little girl yesterday whose dad was part of a murder factory and it caught up with him. And then now it's having effects on her and she can't think straight and neither can you. Okay. Let's see if we can load this one up and see if artificial general intelligence at NASA can handle it.